What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over and ranking our top 10 attainable power forwards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Now, disclaimer before I start this video. I don't even like doing these videos really right now because what's attainable, what's not attainable? It's hard. It's hard. I don't necessarily like it because, again, the difference between an attainable player and unattainable really comes down to judgment. So basically, every card that is a 100 overall or lower can be on this, and all of the invincible rewards that were attainable without, gambling a ton of money on packs. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. There is one card that I don't even like the fact that he's on here, but we'll get there in a second. Now I'm going to rank 12 guys just to give you guys a little bit of I don't even want to call it wiggle room, but wiggle room, right? So it's not just the top of the top. Started off at number 12. We've got 100 overall, Myles Turner. Now, Myles Turner is 6'11". He's got Pro 2. He's going to knock down shots. He's going to play good defense. The only thing I'm not necessarily sold on for Myles Turner is the release. I think, and I'll compare it with my number 10 here in a second. But I think that's the main thing I'm just not really sold on for Myles Turner is that release. I think it's fine. But when I'm looking at some of the top releases in the game, I just don't know how much of Myles Turner's I really like. I'm not saying it's bad, but that is the one thing with Myles that I'm like, I'm just not sold on that release. At my number 11, we are plugging in Mr. Kwame Brown, 6'11" frame. On the flip side of Myles Turner, I don't love his release. Kwame Brown compared to Myles Turner, I think is close because, again, I shouldn't say I don't like Kwame Brown's release. I think release-wise, it might be slightly better than a guy like Myles Turner, but leaner-wise, I think I like Myles Turner more. Honestly, the more I'm looking at this, the more I want to swap them. The more I'm thinking about it deep down, it's I really do believe Myles Turner gives you slightly more than Kwame Brown. I don't think his player model is better, but I think side-by-side, Myles Turner is the better option. Now, we start our top 10, and it's Tim Duncan. I'm a firm believer. At this stage of the game, Tim Duncan can absolutely still play. And I know there's going to be people out there that are like, Ty, you're crazy. Tim Duncan is washed. At this stage, Tim Duncan shouldn't be playing for you. All those types of things. Look, I get it, right? And if that's you, I respect your opinion. But honestly, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Tim Duncan can play at the very highest level. The card is incredibly good on the floor. I just don't see any real negatives with Tim Duncan. He's 6'11". He has a great release. His movement's fantastic. He's got the Pro 2 leaner. Let me know where you guys hate on Tim Duncan because I really see nothing. I think Tim Duncan is an absolute stud, an absolute beast. And if you're in need of a power forward and got Tim Duncan, guess what, guys? The card can absolutely still play. He's, a couple of weeks ago, he was still on my squad. Shows you how much I like the card. At my number 9, we got Greg Oden. Part of the downfall on my main squad was the fact that I picked up Greg Oden, and I thought to myself, I think Greg Oden is slightly better than Tim Duncan. Now, I'm not saying there's a big difference between the cards because there's not. Tim Duncan has that better catch and shoot release. Greg Oden is, in my opinion, just has a better player build, a wider player build, going to be a little bit taller on the floor. Obviously, again, Greg Oden still has that Pro 2 leaner, which obviously is super important. So for me, I do think it's close. I think it really is preference-based. But to me, I slightly right now prefer Greg Oden to Tim Duncan. But I do think it's close and competitive. At my number 8 is a card that is really expensive. It is 100 overall Giannis. Now, honestly, I think Giannis is good. I also think there are better power forwards than Giannis at this stage. I think Giannis really is valuable with the invincible, with him being able to play that small forward position, whereas with the power forward, he's obviously still good, but I think he loses a lot of value. The only reason Giannis is on here is because you could have got Giannis out of your locker code. And if you got Giannis out of your locker code, he is really good and probably should be playing for you guys. Now, again, if you didn't get him out of your locker code, he's not a guy, honestly, I'd recommend buying. He's fine, but I wouldn't buy the card. And so he's in here at my number 8. But again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend buying the card. At my number 7, we are plugging in Invincible Nate Thurman. A card who, guess what, is going to knock down shots. He's going to play great defense. And if you get Nate Thurman out of your Ascension, you've got a really good card. Now, here's the downfall with Nate Thurman, right? And again, I'm not hating on it, but it's the dribble sigs could be a lot better, right? No moving crossover, that hurts the card. Doesn't have Garland, doesn't have Francis, that hurts the card. But his catch and shoot release is great. He's got Pro 2 leaner. To me, he's incredibly good as an invincible. Especially you give him legend, box out beast, challenger, rebound chaser, on ball menace. Like, Nate Thurman's a beast. If you get him in Ascension, count yourself lucky, and he will, you know, be fine at that power forward position. Honestly, I think there are better power forwards, but I really like Nate Thurman. At my number 6 here, we're plugging in Brook Lopez. And here's part of the reason I'm really high on grinding level 40 this season. Because you get Brook Lopez, you get Nate Thurman, you get a couple of cards that are pretty solid on the court. Like, Brook Lopez can play, Nate Thurman can play. They're not cards that are necessarily like, you know, they're not bad cards, you know. Brook Lopez, 7'1", 7'5" wingspan. A little different, right? Jared Allen, I'm very quick, but has the Pro 2, has Russ dribble style. Again, no moving crossover hurts him, but I still like Brook Lopez. Hall of Fame box out beast brick wall. One thing to think about is he doesn't come with rebound chaser, so if you get Brook Lopez, it is something to keep in the back of your minds. Now cracking our top 10, gotta plug him in case you got him out of your 100 overall pack. It is Shaquille O'Neal. Now I know people are gonna say, Ty, you really think Shaq's better than Brook Lopez? Yes, I do. I think a lot of it has to do with his player model and player build, though. And again, I don't necessarily love the fact that that's the case, but I do think Shaq is, fine in here at number 5. I think Shaq's extremely good, extremely solid on the floor. And if you get your hands on Shaq, you got one of the best bigs in the game. Now, again, wherever Shaq is where KP is. Honestly, I probably think Shaq is better than KP, so I'm going to put Shaq slightly higher. But they're a tandem. You cannot separate them on a tier list. Wherever Shaq is, it's where KP's got to be. Both cards are incredibly good on the floor. Both cards can play at the highest level. It's not even it's not even really a debate to be had. Shaq, KP, both are incredible. Shaq's 7'1" wider player build, KP 7'2", a little bit smaller player build, but again, it's really hard to separate them. Now at my number 3, this is going to surprise some people. It is Dikembe Mutombo. I'm here to tell you, Dikembe is a card that is so good on the court. So good. He's 7'2". His release is quick. He can shoot over people. Now, I know there's going to be certain people out there that are like, Ty, I struggled to green with him. And I get it, because honestly, when I'm playing against Dikembe Mutombo, people miss more shots with Dikembe than they should. Like, people should not be missing with Dikembe, yet they do. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But whenever I use Dikembe, he is a card I absolutely love. Like, there's not ever moments where I'm like, I don't know if this Dikembe is good or not. Like, whenever I use Dikembe, it's like, this card is incredible on the court. And so he is still on my squad. I've got, some of the best cards in the game. Dikembe is still out there. At my number 2 is a card that, again, you only should pick up if you guys got him out of the locker code. It is Victor Wembanyama. The card is insanely good, guys. I'm not here to sit here and tell you, like, how good he is. I'm just here to simply put, if you got him out of the locker code, he should be playing for you, right? It is that simple, that easy, because in the auction house, he's way expensive. And honestly, he deserves to be expensive. Like, I'm not here to sit here and say Wemby is bad. Like, he deserves to be as expensive as he is in the auction house. It's just sad because it's like, again, the card's not attainable. Like, he is so ridiculously expensive. People don't just have millions and millions, at least most people don't just have millions and millions and millions of MTs sitting around. So if that's you, it is what it is. Coming in at my number 1 is Ralph Sampson. Now, I've got to include Ralph, because guess what? When Ralph was available, if you grinded your Sunday's rewards, if you grinded King of the Court, played a little King of the Court, and you grinded out all of the challenges, you could get Ralph Sampson. You absolutely could. And so I am including him here because, again, if you got Ralph Sampson, he is the best power forward in the game. Now, even if you're including, some of the top guys in the game, yes, like Goat Yao is better. Yes, Invincible Wemby is probably better, but it's a short list of guys that I like more than Ralph Sampson. If you've got Ralph Sampson, you've got your power forward basically until endgame. He is that good, that effective on the floor, and is a card I am going to hype up to the moon. Ralph Sampson, the man with the plan, coming in at my number 1 best power forward in the game. Let me know your thoughts on this list. Like I've mentioned, if you want me to talk about the, expensive power forwards quick, I can. But again, these cards are just super expensive. Like, I do like Wilt. I've got Wilt on my main account. Obviously, he's ridiculously expensive. Yao is the best power forward in the game. D-Rob's okay. I do like Wilt more. If you got Kareem, you should be playing him for sure. But even some of these invincibles, like I don't necessarily level out of them, but obviously like KP Shaq invincibles are obviously really, really good as well. So that's gonna wrap it up for our video. If you're wondering Ty where's Serge Ibaka, he's fine. Like if you got Serge Ibaka, I mean maybe slot him in here at like 9 or 10. It's just like I don't think he was worth it in the event, so I didn't really sit up here and talk about him. So that's gonna wrap it up for our video. Let me know your thoughts on it. Drop a like on it, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.